So we'll talk about the age of acquisition effect. This is where early acquired words are processed more quickly than later acquired words, argued to be due to the development of the semantic representation in your neural network change throughout time. Now, the problem is we focus a lot of it on visual word production when it comes to compound words, but we haven't seen more works in visual word recognition, cross-modal, and auditory. So we're using a variance of lexical decision tasks to examine whether the airway effect is situated within compound words by manipulating the map between representations. The 192 participants were given 226 compounds and they were split into four experiments. As an unspaced compound word, as seen in for experiment one, a spaced compound word where there was a space between the modifier and the head, air and plane, and an auditory lexical decision task for experiment three, and experiment four, where they saw the word and heard the word simultaneously. And these were all pre-registered, and they had to decide whether the string letter was a word or pseudo. What we see across the four experiments is that frequency, familiarity, and airway imageability contributed to the space, unspace, and auditory lexical decision task, while auditory lexical decision task was affected by word length and lexical meaning dominance, and the airway of the head, lexical, so plane, for instance, while in experiment one, while in experiment two, we observed that lexical meaning dominance, modifier familiarity, modifier AOA, and head imageability were affected by it. In experiment one, we see the modifier airway lost semantic transparency and head of the imageability of the head contributes to reaction time. Experiment four, we see nothing. So what's quite interesting is when you look at the interaction is strongest in the unspaced than it is than any others. That's the one that shows the steepest slope, whereas the one that shows the smallest slope, where it's almost basically a flat line, is in the cross modal. But if you look at but what we can see is the age at which you acquire a compound word and impact of visual space and unspaced reaction time, latencies, and auditory. Whereas the airway of the compound did not affect cross-modal latencies, and the age at which you acquire the modifier affected only that of experiment two, only affected unspaced and spaced, while that of the head only affected the auditory, meaning it's related to form and meaning, because we see also word length. And what we can say is the airway effect, we actually almost ensure that semantic representation is maintained across all the variants. The only difference is the mapping between representation differs between orthography and phonology. However, we will need to investigate some novel compound words in order to make sure that effects we're seeing is due to, well, is actually being seen as due to the order of acquisition as opposed to the actual compound words.